Konnichiwa, thugs. This is Wrestling Card Weekly. My name is Brennan, and these two dapper yappers are Nick and Jeffrey. We're here every Wednesday to talk to you about wrestlers on cardboard and the degenerates who love them. If you could like this video, subscribe, comment, or leave us a 5-star review if you're listening on an app, you'd help us get over with the algorithm, and we'd be mighty appreciative. What's happening, lads?
That was excellent.
Thank you. Other than slipping over degenerates.
10 out of 10. That degenerates is a tough word.
Degenerates is a tough one.
I enjoyed the help us get over part. That was good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, please. We are on the podcast apps now.
Yes. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you could, you can give us a bunch of other weird review, subscribe. Yeah, and the weird ones also, whatever you do. If you give us a 5-star review, subscribe, leave a comment, that boosts us way up, and pretty soon we'll be the toast of the town.
Yep.
How y'all fellas doing?
Good. Chilling. It's been raining all day, a rainy Memorial Day.
Yeah. I had burger shit all in the fridge. Nothing. But as soon as it's done raining, we'll cook.
Yeah, but other than that, not up to much, man. Picked up a couple cards this week.
Nice.
What'd
you get?
Okay. Hold on.
Yeah, let's see them.
All right. Okay.
Let's just hop into what did Nick buy this week.
Okay. So pick that up.
There it is.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool card.
5-2.
Then
Nick, don't forget we're audio now too, so you got to describe these things.
Sorry. Yes, for our audio listeners, Jacob Fatu 2024 Select Ringside Tie-Dye.
Man, beautiful. That's a pretty card.
And then the Lyra Valkyria / Aoife Valkyrie Elephant from 2022 Select. It's in an 8 holder, which means it's probably just gonna open it.
Love that bird.
I also got the tie-dye this week, and I have the zebra. So if you have the tiger, holler at me. And then we talk about these all the time, but I think with this scan, this card looks pretty good.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah,
a lot of the problem is that we can get into this debate sometime how we've switched from wanting scans to wanting pictures.
Yeah,
and I just think cards show off better scanned a lot of times, especially any chromium shit. So
that's a nice one. Is that the gold ray wave out of 50?
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I think the picture works well with the motif.
They're growing on me for sure.
Yeah, if you like, I like it. That classic new metal, putting your hands out you're in Limp Bizkit. That works with the kind of early 2000s ruthless aggression kind of thing.
So those are my 3 favorites of the week.
That's a good pickup.
Jeffrey got something nice too, didn't you?
I did. I got one good pickup this week. A new Miz for the must see PC, if you will.
Bro, that is the sharpest picture I've ever seen.
Lightbox, baby.
Oh, nice. That looks great.
Yeah, I got the 2024 Select Premier Gold Wave. 10 out of 10. It was listed by it now on eBay at $20. So I went ahead and just smashed.
Snap.
So now I think I now have the full gold run of that, even though I hate the design of the 2024 Premiere. But
to be fair, the Mrs. does look pretty good.
Because he's pointing across the card.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
That was a fun pickup.
Yeah. I wanted to show. I didn't pick anything up. However, I did find something that was buried in a drawer, and I was so glad to find it. It's not a card, but I thought you guys would enjoy it. This is a WWF microphone, toy microphone.
Holy shit.
The buttons don't have labels on them, and I tried putting batteries in it, and it just doesn't work. But basically...
Is there a date on that on the front right there?
Yes, cool. It is 1997.
Nice.
Yeah. So this was you'd pretend to be Jim Ross, and
so badass.
you'd stand there and cut a promo on your teddy bears, This thing absolutely rocks. Jessica got it for me for Christmas a few years ago, and it got lost in the shuffle moving.
Yeah.
When I found it, I dust her off and everything. But I'm so glad to now have this front and center on the.
Very cool.
I might like
full screen Brennan.
Oh, full screen Brennan.
Ah.
Ah.
Well, that is dope. We need to start like I want to start getting more into like kind of that 90s era when of collective, like
the obscure
toys, not just figures and cards, but like the obscure toys.
Yeah,
I like Matt Cardona is really into all that shit, and he's got all he loves the foam fingers and all that stuff. But there's just so many cool things to collect.
One of my favorite Jessica, she gets me wrestling stuff when she finds it out at thrift stores and stuff.
Yeah.
But sometimes she tries to surprise me. One of my favorite phone calls I ever got, Jessica was on vacation with some friends. She was at a thrift store, and I just get a call. She doesn't say hello. She just goes, "Hey, baby, who's Kurt Angle?" And I was like, "Pardon?" She's like, "Who's Kurt Angle?" And I was like, "Well, he won an Olympic medal with a broken freaking neck. Multi-time world champion. I love the man." She's like, "Okay, bye." And I was like, "Oh, all right." And then, like 3 months later for Christmas, she gave me this Kurt Angle bobblehead.
So,
that's sick.
Yeah, it's in the dining room where I'd show you.
Cool.
That stays on that stays on the shelf.
I'll have to show you guys sometime. I have a random collection that I accidentally started of like just wrestling books. I end up eventually reading most of them, but they just sit on my shelf for a while, like late 90s, early 2000s, like just hardback books.
Yeah.
I have so many.
There's a great Memphis wrestling coffee table book that I got my dad years ago that I need to borrow.
It's probably
Sputnik.
Yes, it's Sputnik Monroe. It's what was the name of that documentary? We're gonna have to hold on, everybody. It's something Heat.
As Nick scours the internet.
Memphis Heat, the true story of Memphis wrestling.
Yes.
Oh.
I believe it came. There's the documentary, and I think that there was like a accompanying. Am I on the right track, Brennan?
Yeah.
Okay.
We actually, when I was in Hombres, we used to play sets with Memphis Heat playing on a big television next to us.
Nice. Oh, that's cool. Like that.
Oh
yeah, any news, boys?
Not. We're still getting blue balled by Tops.
Yeah.
Question mark.
Nothing on releases yet. I mean, we've got to be getting close.
So they gave us names and then just kind of dipped.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think it's June for Universe, but June's almost here.
The page still just says available soon.
Yeah.
So
we wait for that. Other than that, I did see that the Io Shirai 2022 debut Prism Black was finally pulled, the 1 of 1.
Ooh.
So that's been sitting there since release. So I think now's the perfect time for that card to be pulled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, if that hits the market, it's gonna be huge.
That'd be a good card. I love all this. I saw somebody broke out a Tom Brady 1 of 1 from like a 2007 box of.
I saw it, the platinum
earlier this week. Yes,
that's crazy.
Like just been sitting there for 18 years, right? Like that's just so fun to me.
It should have been me.
It's like the Evan Longoria Superfractor. It's still out there somewhere.
No one wants to pull that boxes? At this point. Sitting in someone's garage.
Man.
Just doing nothing or sitting on a store shelf somewhere.
But who knows what's out there? And it's fun to think about. Like I think the stuff still is in box. Like I think the Longoria Super is still in a box somewhere. My buddy thinks that some kid pulled it and just stuck it in the back of his toy box, and that was it. Like think of how many cards have been lost just because some kid pulled them and stuck them in the back of their toy box.
Oh yeah. Especially in the past. Like now I think we're getting close to past those days because most of the big hits are like hobby exclusive.
Yeah.
Like, $1,000 boxes, so kids probably aren't just coming home with a grand worth of cards. But
think about how many. Oh yeah, no. Think about how many cards that could go for God knows how many were stuck in the spokes of a bicycle in the '60s.
Yeah,
just so it sounded like a motorcycle.
I mean, how many manels are out there?
It's crazy to think about how we don't care about things, then we look back on, and nostalgia is such a heavy factor.
Yeah,
on so much of that.
No, I asked my mom like 5 years ago. I was like, those binders of Pokemon cards, she was like, I threw those out like 15 years ago. Why what do you
Thanks, Mom. Okay. They went my retirement fund.
Yeah, no. This is the woman that still has 2 giant vacuum sealed things of Beanie Babies.
I knew you were going to say
that. I was like,
that.
you couldn't have tossed those. But then again, we could live in a Mad Max Beanie Baby economy someday.
Yeah.
It could actually come true.
Those were everybody's get rich.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I had so many Beanie Babies.
Jeffrey, what was that? What is the Hogan at Golden up to right now? Do you know?
Last I saw, I want to say it was with Buyer's Premium, it was just shy of $104,000 with about 3 weeks to go.
Let's go.
So I think this Hogan sale shatters the previous wrestling card record.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already getting close. Because what was the Rock 1/1? Was it 127? Something like that. I could be off, but I don't know. I think this Hogan, I think it gets there and passes it pretty easily, sitting where it's at now.
That's insanity.
So it'll be fun to see. It'll be fun to.
We'll do weekly updates of where it's sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot to get into with the market and everything around it. That just We'll save it for another podcast, but I think there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about.
I agree. Speaking of the market, y'all want to get into some of the other stuff that's actually finalized this week?
It would make me so incredibly happy.
I don't know if you've seen all these yet, Brennan. So the first one I want to talk about was the top sale of the week. The Julia
gorgeous card
2024 Select Ringside Gold Vinyl 1/1 PSA 10. It sold at auction this week for $10,755 on eBay.
Holy shit!
That was one hell of a sale.
Yeah,
I just love the way I love the way her gear goes with the look. That's just an all around great card.
Yeah, it's a great card. There's no doubt about it.
It is a huge card.
I got a question for you.
Go.
Do you think it ever sells higher?
No.
Fair enough.
I don't.
I don't think so.
I think that was a okay. I don't want to be so firm on no. She wins some titles. I don't know if it'll be performance based. I think it'll be more of, does another collector come along that wants it more, and there's only one, and they pay the premium. So it could, but I think just random open market sale, probably not. One hell of a sale regardless.
It's a sweet card. If you want it, you want it. I mean, go get it.
Yeah, there's only one. You only have one shot to get it.
Set your comp, baby. Set your comp.
And there was no Black Prism in 2024 Select. They switched only to the gold vinyl, and this is the only gold vinyl from any set or any year of WWE. So I guess shoot your shot. I mean, her market's insane right now, anyways, and that's the card to have from her WWE releases, at least. So and that was her first WWE card, was the Select Ringside. So
yes,
that was a good one. And then we'll go on to the next one. I thought this one was really sick.
I love the inscription.
So the Undertaker 2025 Chrome base variation auto 1/1 sold for $7,200. But the inscription is "Rest in Peace" up the side of the card. Like he signed this so well. Like he used a full autograph area for his name, and then found the perfect empty space to write "Rest in Peace."
Yeah,
it's a good looking card
for sure.
Well done, Mark.
Yeah, I almost wonder. So that one sold best offer on eBay. I almost wonder if it would have gotten more at auction.
How much did you say it was? 7,500?
7,200.
7,200?
Yeah.
It could have.
Yeah. I mean, that's a sick card. And
That
I liked
rolls.
the image of him this year too. So
Yeah.
that would, man, God,
Is
that
that
one's nice.
is that from Mania 31?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I believe that
It
picture's from Mania
might be.
31.
You got a
Yeah.
better memory than I
Yeah,
do.
when he wrestled Bray.
Yep. I think you're right. Another one of one sold this week was the 2023 Prism Stone Cold Black 1 of 1. PSA 8, but it's a 1 of 1. It sold at auction on Golden for $47.60. So
Big boy card, man.
Yeah,
it is. I feel like that one should have gone higher.
Yeah,
that
it's a sick
honestly
card.
should have gone higher. That's a fantastic card.
I
Yeah,
guess it's like
goes
a middle year Prism and 8, which like doesn't matter on a 1 of 1.
Yeah,
but
I think the middle year is probably the kicker there because I mean, obviously the debut Prism sold for a lot more. I'd have to check what it was, but I know it sold for a lot more.
Do you guys think if they continue with tops, for the foreseeable future, the longer it goes, do you think the Panini cards will get more valuable or less valuable over time?
More.
That's kind of what I was wondering.
Wholeheartedly think they do. I've been picking up as much Panini stuff for my collection as I can now, while people are just like hot over the new top stuff and kind of forgetting about the Panini.
Yeah, I mean, if they stick with tops, for long enough, it'll be kind of an outlier.
Yeah. And if especially if they only have like forever those 3 years of like modern Panini,
Right.
I think they'll be like highly sought after, kind of like in basketball, like everybody at the time was like late 90s, early 2000s Upper Deck. They were like, yeah, this is cool, whatever. But then like fast forward, we have all the new shiny stuff. Now everyone's still going back. Like they want that Upper Deck, like LeBron James rookie era, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. The premium on those like exploded. So, and part of it could be the players, but I think people will look back on Panini and forget all the bullshit that we went through with redemptions and quality control and releases being random and never coming when they were supposed to. And I think they'll just kind of rosy glasses see it all and want to go back. This one I wanted to bring up just for my own personal enjoyment.
That's hard as shit.
That
should be airbrushed on the side of a van.
So this is the 2022 Revolution Stone Cold Galactic, and I'm bringing that up because I will die on a hill that I love the Galactic case hit, and everybody gives me shit for it. But the reason I wanted to bring this one up, so it's a PSA 10 Galactic from the debut Revolution. It sold for $650, which it's a good price. The only reason I bring it up is the same day an Undertaker Black Color Blast PSA 10 sold for the exact same price. So I just wanted you guys to know that I'm not crazy for loving the Galactics.
No, the Galactics are sweet, dude. That card's awesome. That card's badass.
No, I'm telling you that rocks.
What's funny?
What's it numbered to?
Nothing. It's just a very short printed case hit.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's like a Color Blast or a Downtown or something like that.
Sure.
Funny you mentioned the scanning stuff earlier. I think scanning this photo makes the Galactic look so much better because it's really hard to like get a good photo of a Galactic parallel.
Yeah, if you get the right scanner, it makes all the difference in the world.
That photo looks great on the Stone Cold. So now I want one, but I don't know if I'll pay $650 for one. But and then the last thing I wanted to talk about was just another timing thing, like we talked about in a previous episode about the what was it, the John Cena Randy Orton match with that auto selling. So this Bronson, the 2025 Superfractor Bronson Reed sold for $552 on Saturday night, which was Saturday night's main event.
What time of day did that sell?
So this sold Saturday when he came back. So $552 for a Bronson Reed seemed pretty good to me because his stuff hasn't sold for anything. So I just thought that was a interesting topic to bring up again is just timing your sales. Obviously, I don't think the person that sold this knew. But no, this one was best offer, so maybe they did. It wasn't even an auction, so they just had it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sold for 552. So time your cards. Plan your sales around big matches.
There might be a WWE employee buying it themselves.
Yeah. Well, if they are, I need them to let me in on the secret a little bit.
I know, right?
So,
but yeah, it was a pretty good week of sales, and then we've still got talking about the Hogan over the next few weeks. That's see where it goes, but it's cool to see all the big sales and wrestling cards just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, it's a wild market right now.
One day I will buy one of those big ones. One day.
I'm sure you will. One day in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, you've got some pretty cool stuff. I'll never forget the so I met Jeffrey for the first time maybe like a month ago. What pay-per-view were we watching?
WrestleMania.
And Jeffrey's just going through Nick's collection. Like everything was out on the living room floor. And Jeffrey just kept going, "Why is this just in a box? What are you doing?" Like there was so much heat that Nick was just sitting on. He was like, "All
right, it's not as crazy as Brennan is making it out to be.
Not things that are worth.
I gotta have 52 mantles falling out of my ass every year.
Exactly. I'm just saying.
But there were like gold prisms and red refractors out of 5, just like penny sleeved. Oh yeah, that's on the coffee table somewhere. Go find that.
Yeah. That does happen sometimes.
It's like, are you kidding me? My golds are in touches in a display case.
Yeah, I mean,
but
sometimes cards end up in crazy places.
But I'm going to use this as a perfect segue because I'm the captain now. We're going to talk about collecting this week. I felt like it was time for a good meaty topic since Topps hasn't given us any news. So I wanted to do a deep dive on collecting in general. Like all of us kind of air out how we collect, what we collect. I mean, everybody knows like our PCs and stuff. But Nick, stay out of the private chat. The Pander Champ is forever. For everyone that can't see Nick being a jackass.
I had it scrolled up.
I'm over here talking, leading the pack, and he types in down with the Pander Champ because
quarterback over here.
Yeah, well, quarterback's back leading. Anyways,
I will have you guys know though, for the first 8 minutes, I was in the lead, and it felt pretty good. I just want to say that before we get into the conversation.
I was kind of scared about that at first. I was getting slaughtered at first. I was like, oh no. But yeah, so I don't have any structure for this, but we'll just kind of spitball it and talk about collecting, how we collect wrestling cards. We'll narrow it to wrestling cards. You can kind of throw in other stuff if it makes sense, but
all right, I got a question for you. What is one steadfast rule?
One steadfast rule.
Yeah. What is a rule, or what is a rule that you rarely ever break when it comes to like your pickups? Like,
I don't buy at release.
Okay.
Unless the caveat to the rule is if it's obvious that the buy it now price listed or the price offered to me is what I'm going to be getting it for later anyways.
Yeah.
But I can't do the buy it at release prices, especially with who I collect, because I'm not paying $100 for a Miz card that I'm going to get for $16 shipped in a month. Like,
fair enough.
The Miz fans dilemma.
Yeah. So that's my. What about you guys? What's your number one rule?
I do not buy sticker autos unless they don't have an on-card auto, which doesn't happen a lot with the wrestling because it seems like Panini got a lot of on-cards over the last 3 years. But especially like with like Memphis basketball and football, like guys that just get junk leaf autos and stuff. Like I'll pick those up, sure, because like that's the only auto they have.
Yeah.
But if there's an option for an on-card auto, I will not buy the sticker auto. I just don't buy them.
I get
don't like them. I don't. It feels so impersonal. Why am I paying a premium for somebody to just put a sticker on a card?
Yeah. No, that makes total sense.
Anything you got, Brennan?
Well, I guess mine, because I don't sell.
Mhm.
For me, my rule is I don't buy a card unless I want it.
Yeah.
If
That's
I
actually
see
a really good rule.
That's genuinely a good rule.
Yeah.
yeah, if I and it's funny that like for a split second I was like, is that a hot take? It might
No.
actually be, because if I see something, I don't. I'm not in the business of selling. I'm not in the business of trading. So
Yeah.
my thought is like, yeah, there's some stuff out there that, yeah, it's worth something, but I don't like that wrestler, or
Yeah.
I'm not into it in
That's the way to
particular.
go about it. I don't
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of just like renting cards. Like if I buy something for the PC, it's very rarely like my PC is so curated.
yeah,
I'm very rarely going to buy something that like 6 months later I'm going to be like, oh, I don't want this anymore.
yeah.
Like I know what I want, I know what I like, So if I'm buying it for the PC, then I'm not, unless I
Right,
need the money at some point, it's not going anywhere.
right. And you guys have two different collections of cards. You have your PC, and then you have, what
Yeah, I
you're.
mean, I'm definitely still buying lots to sell and stuff like that. So, but I don't even count those as part of my collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just
And
part of.
I think I think this whole topic in general will be good to get all of our, because we all have such different ways. Like me is like, I collect a ton, but I also like do like sell cards full time as my job.
Yeah.
And then like Brennan, you're so new in the grand scheme of the hobby and collecting
Right.
that even us asking you these questions, it's going to bring up questions that you can ask that tons of other people will have that we may not think of because we're so like deep into the card lore at this point in our
Right.
lives.
Can't see the forest for the trees.
Right, and which is the most fun I have doing the show is that I love learning about this, and I love getting into like y'all's headspace, as a newcomer, and really kind of seeing, it's not just people, like I said in the intro, it's not just people buying pictures of, fellas and ladies on cardboard. There's a whole lot there, and it's fascinating. It's cool, and I'm really enjoying getting into the hobby, and it's just a blast.
So yeah, as I ask these questions, feel free like to not answer yourself if it doesn't apply to you, because some of them are going to be very detailed.
Oh, of course.
But if it brings up good questions for you,
Definitely
do that.
yeah.
Let us know. But so another one, you mentioned curating your collection, Nick. How do you curate your collection? Like, how do you decide what you're going to buy? Like, what are your thresholds? What are your standards? What is it that makes you buy or not buy?
It's definitely evolved over the years. I'm much more into quality over quantity now. Except for there's some sets I'm working on where that's obviously not the case. But like for individual PCs, for my sports, for my Memphis stuff, I still buy most autos for Memphis stuff. But yeah, I'm trying to lend more quality over quantity. Like I don't want a lot of $1 to $5 cards just hanging out.
Sure.
Like when I sit in a box, I'm not going to see them.
Right.
I don't really. There are points in my life where I was like, oh, that would be sweet. And at this point in my life, I'm more of just like paring things down and just enjoying the things, buying things that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Like what Brennan said.
I love that.
Like, am I really going to enjoy like a $1 base card? Like, I mean, if I do, cool. Then like get it, throw it up in a top loader and, whatever. But like, do I need 150-cent cards? No, not really.
No.
Yeah.
So
I've gone
see the evolution of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's never like a straight line either, because I kind of do the same now, but kind of like diet version of yours. So I originally, when I first got into, we'll just use my Miss collection as an example, I would buy, my goal was, all right, I'm going to buy every Miz card that has ever existed. Like no joke. And I have full spreadsheets of every set he's ever been in, what parallels there were, what insert everything, and I've got a good chunk of them. And over time I was like, all right, that's not gonna be sustainable. And now I have thousands probably of miscards that half of them I end up with like multiple duplicates of, and I still end up keeping them.
Miscards?
I have an entire 5-row box sitting right next to me and like multiple shelves. It's insane.
That rocks.
Yeah.
Love that. I'm sorry, I'll never get over it.
Yeah, so, and I still have most of them.
You're gonna pull a mask off Scooby-Doo style, and it's gonna turn out we've been doing a podcast with Maurice.
God, I wish. She looks a lot better than I do. But so I did that for a while, and I still do to an extent. Like if something comes up, usually I don't go buy lower end Miz stuff on eBay anymore. But if I'm at a card show or buying on Twitter or whatever, where I can get it for 20 cents, 50 cents, I still grab them up. But for the most part, like what I'm seeking out is I buy golds at a 10 or at a 50. And then pretty much anything, let's just call it anything numbered at a 50 or less is my main goal.
Case hits.
And then I make exceptions for just like, if he has a really cool image in a set, I'll try to get as much of it as I can. Or if somehow I get like I have one of one, Miz, like I'm gonna try to finish that rainbow, which I probably never will because I cannot find any of them ever. But I go for more rare stuff Miz wise now. As far as wrestling in general, everybody else that I get, it ends up being Attitude Era guys that just the nostalgia factor. And I'll get them, and it's got to be like something specific. Like I'll pick them up along the way. Like I said, card shows, Twitter, wherever it's cheap, and kind of use that to decide if I want to keep it. And if I don't, I'll sell it. But for the most part, I'll try to get like 1 or 2 cards of like each wrestler that I like genuinely have liked over the years, and not just like, oh, like I liked this guy for a couple months, but like, you know, Michaels, Stone Cold, Rock, Hardy Boys, Dudley. It's just random stuff from my childhood. Those I don't have as much of a restriction on because I don't spend as much on them. But if the right thing comes up, then I'll do it that way.
I will say I do have like 300 10-cent Derek Jeter cards. And I will never get rid of them. I got real bored over the pandemic and hopped on sports slots and was like, okay, I'll take this. I took like every card that was under like 15 cents. Ended up with like 200 Jeter base and inserts. It was awesome.
I'm the same way with, I have an entire like collector's album binder, like those ones you get at Target, full of nothing but like random different Rafael Devers cards that I've gotten for like 10, 15 cents. So I feel
there's just something about maybe it's just the baseball thing, and wrestling is different because I didn't collect wrestling cards as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But just I care. I seem to care more about inserts and base and baseball products than I do about wrestling products for some reason. It feels like I don't know why. It's just I don't know.
I will say I do, now that we mentioned that, I have one of those binders also completely full of like stars, like wrestling base and inserts, but those, so base and inserts, if I pull it, I'm not usually going to go through the trouble of trying to sell the base cards, but I'll be like, hey, I pulled these, they look cool, it's a memory, it's nostalgia, the picture on it, whatever. So I have an entire binder full of just like base Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, like Rob Van Dam, like people I'm not going to go out and buy tons of cards of. I'll be like, that'll be cool to look through. So I do have that. Let's see what else. So you sell, I also sell.
Yeah.
Brennan, you don't, but you could.
I know sell.
I know. Dirty.
Sorry.
So
just like Charlotte with Julian, no song like hell.
So how do you decide what to sell from your PC? Like, how do you decide what stays and what sells if you do sell PC cards?
I have the only PC cards that I've bought that were intently for my personal collection that I've sold in probably the last 10 years are just some sets that I got like halfway through and was like, I don't really want to finish this.
Yeah.
You know, I buy up some of the lower end ones and I got to get like Griffey, A-Rod, Frank Thomas, Jeter. And I'm just like,
never mind.
I don't really want to finish this right now. Maybe later. But like I said, I haven't for a long time. I just don't buy a lot of bullshit fluff that I don't think is cool. The things I buy are things I think are cool, and they're things I want to keep. Now, like, would I sell? Like, there's definitely some cards in my collection that are no sells ever. They're a lot of my pre-war baseball stuff is just too rare to let go of.
Yeah,
I'll never find it again. Those are like no sell. I mean, I would sell stuff for more cards, but it would have to be the right card, and I'd have to get the right price.
Yeah,
and I don't know. There just hasn't been anything big enough that I've wanted that it's been like, oh, I need to move 3 PC cards for this. Like, some $1,000 card comes up one day, then like, yeah, I'll move a bunch of PC cards and get it. But I don't know. I like the stuff I have.
And your PC is very, it's fun. If you look at Nick's PC, it's very curated to what you like the 0708 Tigers, the pre-war baseball, the wrestling that you have. It would break my heart to see you part with some of that.
That's what here. What do you here's a question. What does the term PC mean to you? Is that just the cards you own, or is that like, or do you own cards that you don't consider a part of your PC?
Yeah, the latter. My PC is my collection that was bought with the intent of being in my collection.
Yeah.
And then I also own cards that I have the intent to sell, or the intent to hold to sell, or the intent to grade to sell. So there is now sometimes those bleed over to where a card I buy to sell, I end up liking too much. And this happens way too often, but I'll buy a card, be like, okay, I got it at this price. I can definitely sell it for more. I'll go ahead and do that. And then when it comes time, it's like, I'm just going to hold it for a little. And then I'm at the point right now, I literally have cards. There's a few that I've put up on eBay at a price that they shouldn't be up there at, way too high, and they're sitting in my display case on display. And it's like, hey, if someone hits by it now, all right, I'll take it out. But otherwise,
that's why I give all my cards to sell to you, because then I don't have to look at them and be like, oh, I want to keep this. I'll just let you do that.
That's me. I literally have, I can see like 7 of my eBay cards right now behind a glass case in my room.
Yeah.
So, but for me, with the original question of how do you decide? So I do end up selling some of my actual PC cards to fund other PC cards. Typically it's if I want to upgrade that said card, if that makes sense. So like right now I have a CM Punk auto, but it's a sticker auto, and I'm not in love with the photo choice on it. It was the select auto he had.
Yeah.
And I want an on-card Punk. Kind of want a flawless. Kind of.
I think you have a finishing moves at your house. Do you not?
I do. I need to sell that one though. So I don't know. I'll do that sometimes where like I'll have a card that I'm like, man, I really like this card, but then another one that's higher quality or more, not necessarily just more valuable, but just like something more up my alley will come along, and I'll be like, all right, if I can sell this, I can reason with myself to purchase this.
Yeah.
So
like, I could see myself selling like one flawless auto for another flawless auto, or like
yeah.
Well, Jeffrey, what you were saying, and I wanted to follow up, like, since because you started selling full time pretty recently,
Yeah.
like since you've and there hasn't been that much time, but since you've started doing that, has that changed your outlook on what you want to hold on to? You know, do you have things that you previously you were like, I'll never get rid of this, and now it's like, well, light bill, I could stand to lose this.
In a way, it hasn't affected any of my like Miz collection PC stuff, or any of my other like bigger cards, but there are a few where mainly, I guess I've, especially doing this podcast now and going just like so much into wrestling cards, like all of my sales on Twitter are 500 times more productive when it's wrestling cards. Like, I'm more invested in wrestling than I am in sports, even though I love sports. But like, I couldn't tell you the last time I sat down and watched a full baseball game or a full football game, but I watch full wrestling from any year before I was born every day. So my wrestling collection has stayed, but I've started moving on from a lot of my football and baseball that, because in that I would make random choices to be like, all right, I'm going to try this rainbow, or I'm going to try to collect a gold of every player from this year. So I have like 25 halfway completed projects that I'm like, dude, I haven't looked at these in 2 years.
Right.
So I started selling those off, moving those, doing it full time has made me it's almost made me hone in a little more on what I actually like, because I see so many cards now, because like 16 hours a day, I'm either taking photos of cards or comping cards or looking up places to buy cards or making deals or whatever it may be. It's made me kind of broaden my horizon on what I like, in a way, but also made me like hone in on the things I don't. So it's kind of just really focused my collection a little bit more. That said, the temptation of all the new things I see is a lot more now, because I'm so much like more focused on cards in general. So that's a good question, because I was kind of not worried, but like wondering about that myself at the beginning. Is like, all right, what's gonna change? Because dealing cards full time is not as glamorous as it seems. Don't get me wrong, I love that I make my own schedule and my job is selling cards, and
it's a grind, dude.
It's a grind, but
and you have to wonder going into that, are you going to go in everything must go mode, or are you going to maintain like I got limits?
And I was worried about that, and I was worried at the beginning of, man, am I gonna like, what if I get into this grind of selling cards and I'm just not like, I don't want to collect anymore. It's just like,
becomes not fun.
Just like overdose. But if anything, it's made me like it more, which is crazy.
I can see the wild meth look in your eyes when you're talking about cards. It hasn't changed. Hasn't changed a lick.
Sound like my wife. My son wakes up every day now, because now that I'm home with him while I do all my card stuff, he'll just wake up and be like, cards? Like, I haven't even changed his diaper yet, and he's running down the hallway grabbing his cards out of his toy box, because he's like, it's time to work. We got to do cards.
That rules.
So it's awesome.
He's the man.
Yeah. But it's been good, but I think it's really made me focus, which is good.
Brennan, do you have a good question? Do you have a question for us?
Do I have a question for us? Yes, actually, you guys Jeffrey, you mentioned your glass case behind your computer. How do you guys display the ones you like the most? Because I personally, being very new, I have specific ones that I like. I have a chalkboard behind my laptop here.
Yeah.
And the rail where you would normally keep chalk, I just have a bunch of cards in cases. And I've absolutely run out of room. I'm at some point going to have to get some shelves or something, which is feels as degenerate as it could possibly be, that I'm going to have to install shelves because I got into a hobby. But I'm so excited. I love this shit. But how do you guys like, is that your, like, Jeffrey, is that your main thing, or do you have multiple kind of spots that you place things? Nick, how do you display?
I'll go first.
Yeah, you go.
Mine's easiest. I don't display anything right now. I'm waiting to move.
Oh yeah, you're moving soon.
I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get some some wall display cases, and because it's no fun having, like, I want to enjoy my cards, right? Like, all of them. Like, I want to see all of my T210s and T211s together. I want to see my, Fatu collection that I put together. So I need to.
What's your plan for it once you're ready and in the space to do it?
Probably, I don't know. Probably just a couple of those display or like what you have, the wall hanger cases.
Yeah,
probably just a couple of those, because like they'll be themed, right? Like I get a smaller one for my pre-war collection, and then I'll get a bigger one for some other stuff, and
or you can get real weird with it. Me and you can go to IKEA, and we can just
figure something out.
Figure something out.
I just said figure something out.
Figure something out.
Oh man, that's enough of that. But
I'm looking forward to displaying my stuff once I move. I'm going to have a little more room, so yeah.
For me, so like you said, I use I have two of the big wall hanger cases that open and close, and they actually have locks. I've never once locked it because, well,
yes, because that lock will stop the 3-year-old burglar that's robbing you.
Yeah, exactly. So I have two of those, which originally when I bought them was, I'm going to have my Ms. collection in one, I'm going to have my sports collection in another.
Yeah.
And then it kind of started bleeding over because I had too much Ms. And then, which, funny enough, this is why I started selling some of my main sports collection. I still kept a lot of my big stuff, but when I would move them from that case to, I also have like a 3-tiered like wall built shelf that my wife built when we moved in. When I would move a card from the display case to that shelf, I would kind of be like, I don't look at it as much now. And then when eventually I would have to move it from that and be like, oh, I don't have anywhere else now. Yeah. I'll have to put it in this box. I was like, all right, now it's going.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I have two display cases, which one now is completely full of Ms. that is numbered out of 10 or lower, and I don't even have room in it anymore. So I think I'm gonna have to get a third case for Ms. cards. I have two full wall cases of Ms. that is,
you're an addict.
Nothing on them. There's nothing that's not a gold or case hit or out of 25 or less, which is ridiculous. And I still don't have room.
You're an addict.
Yeah. But yeah, then I have the 3 shelves. I actually have I went to Walmart and bought, because I was tired. I had a few cards, and I was like, I've got to display these, but I have nowhere for them, and I'm not about to buy another case right now. So I bought a command strip shelf that was $8.
Yeah, I'll probably get some shelves too
above my laptop, and I just have them sitting up there.
Yeah.
But then I've got binders, I've got boxes, but the whatever I like the most goes up on the wall.
Yeah.
That's
I'm gonna do a big organization project before the end of the year where I buy so get on BCW and buy 5 of every box size, And I figured that should be enough to keep me organized in some way, shape, or form.
It's funny you say that. When I started collecting Miz, I said I started with like, all right, I'm gonna get some of like every set.
Yeah.
I had like individual, like the one row top loader boxes, and each one I had like typed out and printed out a label and had them like by year, by set, alphabetical, like all these one row boxes.
Damn.
And then I ran out of room in like all of those, and was like, I'm not about to go through these every time, so they're all just in like one gigantic box in the back now.
Yeah.
The boxes were they took up too much space. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, space is always a problem.
I couldn't do it.
So
how do you decide what to display versus what not to?
Rotating. You gotta see everything.
Yeah.
Damn.
Keep them changing. Keep them fancy.
Brennan's looking at us like, man, you guys have issues.
No,
rotating.
Genuinely, I'm like, why did that get me excited? I'm like, let's go. Yeah, rotate them.
Yeah.
I will say one of the nerdiest, like most exhilarating things to do is every now and then just like for me, take every card off of the shelves and out of the cases and be like, all right, I'm going to reorganize this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a new system.
Yeah.
I mean, look at my pretties.
Yeah, do that move where you have the case open, like leaning on your head so it doesn't close, and you're trying to get them without them all falling out. Love that.
Well, I think that was a good little discussion on our weird collecting tendencies.
Yeah. I do. Okay, I have one more.
Yeah.
When you actually two more where they kind of go together.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Where do you buy cards the most?
eBay.
Like, what do you have any other outlets or like places?
No, I'll buy stuff on Twitter, sure, or Facebook. Facebook's a lot for buying to resell. Twitter, usually buy PC cards, and then eBay's just too easy. It's just too easy. I know people bitch, people moan. It's king. I think we had this conversation the other day, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Where else are you going to get that many eyes on your shit?
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
The fees are just the cost of doing business. It sucks, but it's the cost of doing business. So I buy most everything on eBay. Try and wait for auctions.
That was going to be my next question: is are you more of a buy it now guy or an auction guy?
Auctions. Well, it depends. If the price is good, I'll snag a buy it now easy.
And are you a send an offer on a card that has offers open kind of guy?
Yeah.
Are you?
And sometimes I'll be the dick when they're like 3 times too high. I'll be like it'll be like $100 card and they want like $450, and I'll be like, I'll offer you 80.
Based.
Like, be realistic with your asks, and you won't get lowballed.
Yeah, I'm
you
weird.
You will get lowballed still because people suck.
Has it ever worked?
Hell no.
At least he's honest.
I'm genuinely
love their stuff too much.
I counter every offer I'm ever sent. Well, unless I just auto accept it. But like if someone sends me an offer that's too low, almost every single one I counter. But if it's just like out of the realm of possibility low, that's an instant decline, and it doesn't matter what you send me after that. I'm just declining it.
No, let me be clear here before I get the villain tag.
No,
I'm talking about offering like $80 on a $90 card that happens to be priced at like $300.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah,
but maybe I'm just like too not antisocial, but just too like anxiety ridden to send. I never send offers. Like, I usually on anything.
It's usually late at night and I'm just fucking around on the phone. I'm like, oh, this will be fun. And like occasionally I take that back. I did send an offer for like, I want to say it was like $180 on a $250 card.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it for like that $70 off.
That's nice.
So that was pretty
because he knew. That person knew.
So I mean,
I need to do that more often. Just sending an offer, even if it's just a little bit off.
What's the worst that happens? You still don't own the card?
Yeah. For me, I'm like, it's almost like a patience thing. Like if I press buy it now, I know I'm getting it right now. It's mine. If I send an offer, they may take 48 hours to respond.
If it's a reasonable price, I won't even bother with the offer. I'll just do the buy it now.
Sure.
Yeah. Auctions, I love the deals you can get on auctions sometimes because like there's so many cards ending at any given moment that you can get great deals. But I don't have the patience to wait a full 7 days if I see that there's one available. Buy it now. Also, it is the worst.
How many times I'm gonna put all of you onto it?
I'm not using your bots.
Use Gixen. It's not a Jeffrey. For all of you out there that would like a free sniping tool, use Gixen. It works really well. I'm not even sponsored by them. I just use it because it works, and I set my auctions and I forget it, and it makes my life 10 times easier. So use it. Gixen. Gixen. It's an eBay app.
That's not my problem though. My problem is the patience aspect.
You don't need patience then. You just put in your bid and
no, but that's the problem. Once I put in my bid, I know that card is there. But if I know I can go press buy it now somewhere else, it'll be at my house before that auction ends.
Set it and forget it. It's like a crock pot.
You have more patience than me. I can't do it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yes, you're right. Okay, you know what I'm really excited for though? Brennan has a mystery draft for us this week, and I have no idea what it is.
I do. I did not tell the boys what this is.
I'm scared.
So we have to address the elephant in the room.
I don't have an elephant.
We have a returning champion. He is now. I guess that's you were champion forever, so now you're 2-time.
Yeah. The 2-time.
2-time champ.
Hopefully, it remains 2-time. I don't have to be 3. I don't want to get into that discussion of how many times I lost the title.
Listen here, just because you pander.
Okay, last week's were not panders. They come off as pandering, but you have to remember, I'm
The Rock.
This was my generation.
I'm not pandering.
This was my generation. This is what I grew up on. So
how old are you?
I'm 30.
I'm 35. That's not.
So, but saying you can't say I'm pandering when it's
when I choose
The Rock, Stone Cold. Yeah, I think that's what lost you.
Why didn't you go with Todd Pettengill, huh?
Who the hell is that? Anyways.
Anyway, tonight, there were a few events over the weekend, and there were a lot of gimmick matches. Saturday night's main event had a cage match. Jesse Ventura had a great time commenting that, especially when it ended. There was Anarchy in the Arena at Double or Nothing, as well as an ambulance match. So tonight is the What the Hell Was That Jesse Ventura Memorial Draft. Jesse is not dead, but he seemed like he wanted to be after watching.
He did.
Yeah, after watching.
All right, so what are the rules here?
Out of the cage. The rule is your favorite gimmick match.
Ooh.
So stipulation.
Stipulation
match.
Like specific gimmick match.
Yeah, no. Stipulation gimmick type of match.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh. So I believe first goes the
Pander
champion.
Don't call me that.
I'm sorry. That was rude.
Oh boy. I'm gonna go Hell in a Cell. It's what a cage match should be, but better. And it's not as good as it used to be. I need them to start getting back up on top. But Hell in a Cell.
That was definitely on my list. That's a good
choice. Came in second this week. Me or you?
Nick.
You guys tied actually.
Go first, Brennan.
So surprise.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to stick with my no pandering because I know this is not going to win me any favors. But last night was the third one, and by God, Anarchy in the Arena is my favorite thing. It makes me so incredibly happy. Just two teams fighting all over an arena, multiple cameras, music playing. Last night they had Let the Bodies Hit the Floor over and over again until Swerve got put through the speakers by Claudio Castagnoli. I mean, top to bottom, every spot, everything. It just made me so happy. Anarchy in the Arena is my current favorite.
I like it.
TLC matches.
Nice.
Love me a good old fashioned TLC match.
I almost took TLC number 1.
And I will round that back around with a good old fashioned Survivor Series elimination match.
Ooh.
You know, we didn't know it until we didn't have it. How great they were.
The 5-on-5s. Give them all to me.
When was the last time they did one?
Man. It wasn't as far back as when Sting was in WWE, was it?
No.
Well, I was about to say the last
they did
one
Raw vs. SmackDown like 6 years ago.
Yeah, like 6 years ago. But the man, that one where Sting came in and saved Dolph Ziggler is the last one I remember.
That's the last one I remember. That's why I said
that.
It's the last one I remember going insane.
Yeah.
My timeline is all.
Me and my friends jumped up and down in like a girls group hug huddle. Like jumping up and down in a room while wives watched us just embarrassed. It was great to see Sting.
Love Sting. All right, Brennan, you're up.
Is that me next?
Yes. Nick swindled you into getting the turn for himself.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so my second is going to have to be bull rope match.
It's a good one.
I love a bull rope match, and I love both kinds of bull rope matches. And I'm saying I'm including bull rope as one because you've got the one where you have to where you're just tied together and fighting. You've got another where you have to hit the corners. I'm not too much into that. I'm mostly into we're going to be tied together. This is how it's going to go. Yeah, I just think that's great. One of the unsung bull rope matches, and one of the things that I think people don't talk about too much when they talk about The Fiend. A lot of people talk about The Fiend's title run as if the entire thing was just dog shit. And look, there was some bad booking that went into that. The Fiend and Bryan Danielson in their bull rope match is one of my favorite matches. They went at it with the lights down and everything. It was really cool, and I think that needs to be like rewatched and given a little more love.
Yeah, fair enough. I forgot about that. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Man, TLC was going to be my next pick. Let's go with a. I don't know if this one will get back to me. I'm trying to play the game now.
Is. Don't ever lie to us and say you're not pandering.
I'm never pandering. I'm always just trying to win. There's a difference.
Pandering.
Give me an elimination chamber. I want everyone engaged and I want no rules. That's it. I love the elimination chamber. And then to round mine out, give me. It's gonna sound terrible, but just give me a battle royal. Like, I want to say Royal Rumble, if that counts, but if not, just battle royal.
Yeah.
I just like the surprise aspect of those, specifically the Royal Rumble type. I don't like it when they all start in the ring at once.
Yeah.
Give me the entrances. Give me the surprise.
For sure.
For entertainment purpose. There's never really any good wrestling in them, but I like the pop.
Yeah. Nick, you next?
Yeah, you're next.
I'm next?
You are next. Yep.
Damn. I would have preferred Nick to be next. Okay, so full disclosure, because I was springing this on the guys, I didn't write down what I tried to give it less thought. I wanted it to be more of a surprise for all of us. And This last one's really tough because I've got two, and I'm gonna have to go exploding barbed wire death match.
Not the AEW version?
And here's the thing. The AEW version, the ending was botched. But it was a great match up until the ending was botched. It was a lot of...
But the problem is the whole match is the ending. It's an exploding barbed wire match. If it's not exploding, then the match is not what it says.
There is 29 minutes and 59 seconds before.
That's like having a tag match, and that's like being like, this is the greatest tag match ever, and then there's like 1-on-2.
I didn't say it was the greatest exploding barbed wire death match.
Okay.
That clearly goes to Onita and Choshu.
Okay.
But yes, mostly I prefer Japanese ones. But
I was just busting your balls.
I know, and it makes me happy. I saw that. As soon as I saw the look on your face, I was like, "You bust my balls all day." I know that made you happy. But no, yeah. But man, that was such a good match, and then it got so fucked up. I love that they apparently didn't pay the pyrotechnic company. They
Is that really what it was?
Yeah, they screwed the company they hired screwed it up so bad that Tony Khan was like, "Yeah, they're not getting paid."
I thought you were saying they didn't pay them ahead of time, and then the pyrotechnic company was like, "You know what? Screw it. You don't get anything."
No, they screwed AEW over, and they were like, "No, we're not going to pay you." There was sparklers.
All right, Nick, close this out.
All right, so I'm going to go with an Ultimate X match. I think the X Division rules.
Yeah,
those matches are so cool. They get to climb the scaffolding. And it's awesome. I want to give an honorable mention, though, to the King of the Road match, like the Dustin Runnels one, or Dustin Rhodes when he got fired from WCW for blading, and they were fighting in the back of a truck. And I believe was that in Atlanta or Tupelo?
I think that was in Georgia.
I feel like it was in Georgia.
Yeah.
I want to give an honorable mention because I panicked and said bull rope when I should have said war games. And at the end, I had to decide whether I was going with war games and exploding barbed wire death match. And to be perfectly honest, I enjoy exploding barbed wire death match a little more. And I thought Nick was going to pick war games, but honestly, dude, Ultimate X is so fucking
that is
good.
Yeah,
I love that one. Match. Okay, if I don't win this one with Ultimate X, we just got a bunch of haters out here.
If I had TLC, this would have been solid.
I got TLC, Ultimate X, and a traditional Survivor Series match.
Yeah. This is gonna be
that's a good one. I think my Royal Rumble pick is gonna hurt me.
I'll tell you one thing.
I love the Royal Rumble is my favorite pay-per-view of the year.
Mine too.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's for WWE. Easy.
But as a match, it's not a good match.
No, it's not always wrestling, the best.
The wrestling most of the time is not.
But to be fair, part of the match is just the entrances. Like that's the part of it.
That's the entirety of the match.
Yeah.
The rest of the match is literally people fighting in corners, hitting their spots, throwing people out. That's the whole match. But
and the drinking games you can make along the way.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
All right, take us home, Brennan.
Man. It has been an absolute pleasure. Once again, cannot thank you guys enough for watching. If you could brother us with a like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, if you're listening on a podcast app or anything, if you can give us a 5-star review, if you can leave a review commenting what you like about it, or literally saying anything. You can say, I hate Jeffrey, he's the pander champ, and we don't
do it.
That works. It's great. We just really appreciate you guys listening. We appreciate you guys watching, and can't thank you enough for the support.
Absolutely.
Boys, it's as it is every week. It's a damn pleasure being with you, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Later, guys.
Godspeed.